Welcome back to the 2011 Bloomberg UTV Autocar Awards presented by HDFC Bank. We are still here in the beautiful Lavasa city and our jury members are ready to hit the roads with the 14 contenders. Let's head straight into the action. The night before the big day, all the jury members were primed by the official auditor, KPMG. The scoring sheets and the point system was clearly explained to all the members.
We have designed the scoring sheets. We have given these scoring sheets to each of the jury members. Each jury member has been allotted 25 points and these 25 points need to be allocated over the 14 models. The maximum number of points which can be given for any model is 10. No two models which will be the highest scoring model, the points, they can have the same score. Minimum 5 models need to be rated.
Each jury member was armed with a pack of information. It gave him all the information he would need about every car, from price to fuel economy to comparative figures with other cars. All this is tabulated from testing that Autocar does through the year. After all of that, the jury members woke up nice and early and arrived at the testing strip to get their hands on all the contenders. Well, there was one car that every juror wanted to get behind the wheel of, the Mitsubishi Evo X. The fastest Indian in the world, Naren Karthikeyan, was quite excited to take it out for a spin.
It's a boy racer's car. It's fantastic, a lot of fun to drive here.
So you really feel like you're driving a big block V8. It sounds same too.
Everything nice about it, there's nothing bad except the price.
Fast and Furious cars are all good, but our jury members are quite thorough with their work and make sure that they drive the entire lineup. So after all the thrilling rounds in the Evo X, the jury members settled for the smaller cars of the lot. First to go was the Nissan Micra. The all-new WagonR was also hustled over the rather rigorous course.
Well, as you can see, I'm with my hat sitting quite comfortably in it, which is quite a lot of clearance, a tall car.
This platform is actually 2 generations ahead and you can feel that. An all-new engine, it drives much better, it's much better on the highway as well.
It's not that well-balanced car, but looking at the size and the contours and the height of it, it's pretty well. I drove it quite fast on the rough roads.
But it's a lot better controlled, it's got a longer wheelbase, it feels a little bit more planted than the older WagonR did.
So it's got both things, practicality and the appeal of a small car and the economy of a small car.
Volkswagen's stylish new Polo impressed the jury as well. But when it came to the Toyota Prius, the jury found it difficult to come to a consensus. It got applause for its low emissions and high efficiency, but it was also criticized for its lack of driving manners and high price.
You're going to have this same technology on all your small cars, big cars, SUVs. It's going to be a hybrid.
It's very much like an appliance, really not a great driving experience, but I think the whole reason for this car is to kind of save planet Earth.
Unfortunately, this car is overpriced because it's an import.
Well, back to the small cars. It was now the turn of the 2 American hatches. The Chevrolet Beat, true to its name, struck quite a rhythm on the test track. But it was Ford's Figo that really impressed the jury with its extensive range of talents.
I think it's a nicely packaged car.
There are lots of little nice touches to it, very well thought out.
Space is very good, the boot is the most spacious. So overall in terms of practicality, this car really scores. It's not over luxurious, but it just gives you exactly what you want.
Fantastic diesel engine, it drives well.
It was very drivable, not too soft, handles quite well.
A lot of potholes, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of undulation. Really gives a suspension a workout. Probably the best of all hatchbacks in that respect.
I just love the way it handles. I like the engine.
I think if you factor in the price, you're actually getting a lot of car for the money.
With the small cars out of the way, the jury lunged for the massive BMW 5 Series.
But
when I saw this car in the flesh on the road, I instantly fell in love with it. It's so beautifully sorted. It's so beautifully balanced from a design perspective, and the stance, the way she sits, the way she she rolls dynamically from a looks perspective is absolutely brilliant. It's fabulous.
The engine is, so there's a lot of power delivery and everything. Car's very plus, very comfortable to drive. The big letdown for me is it's way too soft.
From a ride point of view especially, it's a welcome departure from the usually hard BMW's philosophy.
The pit stop by now was looking like a beehive. While the cars were being lined up, the jury members took the opportunity to exchange notes on the cars that they'd already driven. The interesting and practical mid-size cars were in imminent danger of being overshadowed by the Figos, Micras and the Evo X's. But the Volkswagen Vento did manage to lure the jurors into its driving seat. Hot on the heels of the Vento was Toyota's Etios. Plain Jane looks, but Tarzan as far as practicality and space goes.
Toyota ticked off all the must-haves and given you the car the best price possible. It's a winning formula.
Very good performance. It's quite fuel efficient as well. It's a car that's really made for Indian road.
I'm quite impressed with the ride quality. We've had quite a few bumps and potholes which we've been over, and this has taken them really well.
I generally check cars on the rough rather than on the tarmac. And I think this car does a wonderful job on both.
Suspension's a bit stiff, so it might seem a little over stiff in the city. Car's a bit basic. They haven't really pampered you with a lot of luxury, but I think in terms of functionality, you've got everything and more.
Space is very, very impressive.
The styling is a little bit odd.
There's no really good looking Toyota, especially in this market, and they're all doing very well. So maybe there's something to be said over there.
With the jury done with the car's testing, it was time for the rough stuff. The SUV track was all loose gravel, treacherous turns and challenging inclines. But the humongous Hyundai Santa Fe pummeled its way through it all. Even Tata's MUV Aria scampered home in this treacherous terrain. But it was Skoda's Yeti that made quite a mark. It really lived up to its name. The snowman seemed like it was wandering free in its natural habitat.
To me, it looks like the perfect urban SUV.
It handles like a car, and it's so well engineered on the inside as well.
You can park it in just about the same space as a Polo.
Everyday practicality and everywhere capability, really a very powerful combination.
The handles really well. You can have a lot of fun with these on these gravel roads. It kind of comes out of the slide quite easily.
For most people, for what they dared venture out on dirt roads, I think this is more than up to the job.
The engine is good.
No turbo lag whatsoever. Very drivable.
It's fairly well priced, but if you look at it from a size per price ratio, I think sometimes there's a bit of an issue over there.
People are still a little worried about Skoda service, which is the issue.
But it's an interesting case to see how it does well in the marketplace, because if it does, it opens a whole new benchmark for other wannabes that are waiting to enter the segment.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind owning one of these cars.
Bringing up the rear was the Volvo XC60. You could spot this cool green SUV speeding in the distance with a personal dust cloud all of its own. After a hard day of testing, the jury was quite exhausted, but there was something that still remained to be done. Driving is one part of picking the car of the year. Voting is the significant other. The jurors settled down with their information dockets, marking sheets, and accorded scores to their favorite cars. How did it all add up? Well, you'll have to wait until 7th January. That's when the awards are going to be announced. That certainly didn't look like a lot of hard work. It looked like a lot of fun, but I know firsthand what looks like a lot of fun can also be a lot of hard work, which is why Renuka, well-deserved break, all that was a lot of testing.
Absolutely.
Was it tough?
This is a much needed cold coffee. It was hard. In fact, it was really hard. And I actually landed up feeling bad for a couple of cars because, you know, in another time, another year with different competition, these cars would have been clear winners. It's just been such a tough battle this year. It has been close, and I'm sure, you know, the ratings will reflect that. It's going to be a tough fight down to the winner.
Well, we won't know until January as to what the judges have chosen as the car of the year. But we went out and asked you what you thought should be car of the year. What exactly is the opinion? We'll find out after this break.